If you feel like you're too impulsive sometimes or you're too quick to say something, this is for you. In Exodus 14:14, the Israelites have just escaped the Egyptians, and they're standing before the Red Sea and they're crying out to God. God, why did you do that? They're now going to kill us. They're yelling at each other. They're saying stuff. They're making so much noise because they're not trusting in the Lord. Moses says to them, the Lord will fight for you, and you must be still. Some translations it says, you must be quiet. And I think this is very important as Christians. As Christians, we tend to want to speak up. We tend to be very opinionative. At least I find that for myself. And we tend to be very quick to say something. And the Bible is very clear that silence is an act of wisdom. It talks about this in James 1:19. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. If you're sitting here thinking about sending a text that you think you shouldn't send, or if you're wanting to react immediately to something that somebody said that offended you in person, the Bible clearly talks about having self-control and being able to control our impulsivity and how quickly we are to respond to that person. In Ecclesiastes 3:7, it says that there is a time to be silent and there's a time to speak. Sometimes the best option is to just be silent. Sometimes we think way too fast and our flesh takes over and we respond in a very negative way that will lead us down a certain direction. We need to learn how to truly listen to what's being said about us and think about it. We need to process it before we say something out of our mouth. Isaiah 53:7 says, he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that is before its shearers is silent. So he opened not his mouth. This verse is talking about how Jesus, the Messiah, he's closing his mouth. He's not saying anything. He's being silent before his oppressors when he could defend himself. Sometimes we could be too reactionary. We could just jump to, wanting to defend ourselves. Even if we could, even if we're in the right, sometimes we don't even need to be defending ourselves. We don't need to be in the disagreement with another person. Sometimes all we need to do is be silent and God will reveal that the person is wrong or that you're wrong, right? Proverbs 17:28 says, even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he is deemed intelligent. This is another verse that the Bible clearly talks about how being silent is wisdom and how we need to be more silent. I just want to remind you guys that the Bible talks about silence being golden. And so we as Christians need to work on this a little bit more. So I hope that this is a good reminder to anybody out there. And I will be releasing a podcast episode later this week on this exact topic.